My first job, I was an administrative assistant, and I got the job because I knew how to make web pages. And so I've always had a love of technology, and in that job I found that there was a lack of classes for staff on basic stuff, how to use PowerPoint, how to use Word. So I started conducting classes, and we even put together a program, the Director of Human Resources and I put together a program for the housekeepers, because they didn't have access to computers. And so we put a computer at Human Resources, and we put one where they log in with their time cards, and taught them basic skills, just how to use a mouse and whatever. And at that point I realized that that's what I really love doing. I love teaching people technology. For instructional technology, I don't think that there's a career path in terms of education that's very succinct. Because, for instance, I have a master's degree in psychology, and I ended up in this field. Some of my friends in the field have backgrounds in sciences, languages, because in languages they use different technology to teach language, and some people really got into that, and then they got into instructional design and instructional technology. So I don't think it matters so much. I think really what matters is that you can prove that you know how to use the technology. So whatever your path, if you really love English, then take courses where they're doing digital storytelling, or they're doing videos to interview people to post on YouTube as projects. So really steer yourself towards classes that use technology, so that when you come out you have a portfolio and that you have skills. Make sure for electives you take things like web design or graphic design or video editing. So I don't know that it matters so much what your major is. You can also go the technology route. I mean, obviously there's instructional there's not so much instructional technology majors yet. I think for some grad programs are starting to have those, but if you like computer science, then you can go that way, but I really don't think that that's necessary. The main skill set that you need for instructional technology is a love of technology. I know that sounds funny, but you have to keep up with the new things all the time. And so the skill set changes all the time. The things that I'm doing right now in my job today, half of those I wasn't doing last year. And 2 years ago, had anybody heard of Twitter? Had anybody heard of YouTube? No, these are the types of things that I do in my job. I teach people how to incorporate this new technology. So you have to keep up with technology all the time. That being said, there are some base skills that I think are very important for this job. One is you have to know how to do web design. Almost everything is on the web today, and so you have to have those basic web design skills. Doesn't mean you have to be a programmer, but you have to know how to use programs from Adobe. They're the industry leader. So Dreamweaver, Photoshop, Fireworks. If you can do video editing, video shooting and editing, that's a huge plus because there's so much with video these days. You have to work well with people. There's a whole side of technology jobs where you sit in a server room or whatever. You don't have to deal with people all the time, but for this job it's a very social, interactive job, so you have to be good with people. So those are kind of the core. Graphic design helps a lot too, because a lot of what we do, if we teach someone PowerPoint, if we want to put together materials and how to do this or that, you have to have kind of basic graphic design skills. So graphic web skills, and then good with people, and just the ability to like technology and keep up with technology. I think that patience is extremely important. You're working with people with skill levels that vary widely. The faculty are not unlike any other group that you know. You have some friends that are really into their phones, and they have the brand new iPhone. They have whatever's newest and latest and they're great at. And you have people who, have some really old flip phone or whatever, and they barely know how to get to the address book. And it's the same with the technology. There are faculty that are really, really into it. They're always asking about the newest, greatest thing. They're signing up for whatever I've got next. And then there's people who are very bah humbug about the whole thing, who absolutely flat out refuse to use any of it. And I have to work very hard to, encourage them, to get them to try it. That's usually the most important thing. The TAs are my biggest allies, because they'll be working with a professor and they might be into technology, and if they bring in something like the clickers, then the professor who thought that that was really a waste of time may see that it's a really cool technology and want to use it in their class the next semester. So patience patience and persistence, for sure. I think it is important to have a portfolio because you have to be able to prove that you can use all the technology, and there's no better way than to have an online portfolio of these are the things I've done. And there are lots of different opportunities. Craigslist is probably one of the best opportunities because there's people looking for interns. I need someone to build a website. I don't have any money. You know, you have to come to my office. You know what? If you've got the time, that's perfect because then you can build them a website, you can get the experience using the software, and then you can post that on your portfolio. So I do think that it's important to have a portfolio together of different kinds of skills, not just web design, because this job has all kinds of different things you need to do. But for instance, maybe like a LinkedIn page with all the stuff that's needed on LinkedIn. You have a profile picture up there. You know how to do that, so you could help somebody do that. You've done some graphic design work, so your web pages aren't just static. They've got some different pictures and stuff. So there's a lot of different things that you can prove by having a good online portfolio.